Well, it's around the places. I've never seen anything like it. I've been over here 4 or 5 times now, so there's never been an atmosphere been this electric or anywhere near it since I've been coming. £6 million guaranteed prize pool, $1 million to the winner. I mean, if you're a poker player, how do you not love that? Poker players have just got to feel like they've just gone to heaven here with these opportunities that are coming up for them. It's just fantastic. I love what Party Poker is doing. I'm supporting it, and I just think it's great for players.
Well, here we go. It's going to be decisive, fairly decisive either way. Jonathan, if he manages to get out John here, he'll only be left with about 4 big blinds, so this is going to be decisive.
Oh, come on, do me a favour. Well, the spade on the turn, he's picked up a lot of outs now. So that's something. Oh my God. He did it the hard way.
Oh my God. That's a hard way. That is a hard way to lose it. As you said, Park, the man has put up a very, very, very good performance. 9th position. I guess we're down to our final 8.
Neel, as we said, where we were talking about yesterday, they might have had his head a little bit down at the end of the night last night because he, I think he finished on a low for the last 3 hours as far as the chips were concerned. He dropped about 200K at one point. He didn't seem to win a pot.
Do we have a list of what people are in for on makeup at this table? I mean, that should always have to be declared.
We did try and find out, who was in the cheapest for this. Apparently, Jacob won his golden chip in Punta Cana. There was a big tournament, party poker tournament there a couple of months ago.
So Jacob is the fun runner here in the field. He's the equivalent of the guy dressed as the giant banana in the London Marathon.
Okay. Chidwick's in a spot where he's looking for fold out. He's just going to. Does he have enough chips to do this?
Yeah, he started with what, 23 blinds today? Is that right? And it's a trouble flop for Chidwick. Let's see.
Well, if you're going to play the 8-6, this is one of the flops.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I met his lovely parents outside. They've made a 2.5-hour journey. This is their first time seeing him play live on a final table, and unfortunately, they gave him the superior bock of when he went in, saying, "See you in a couple hours. Don't make it too quick." Which is
charming.
They'll learn as experienced sweaters that you never balk a man like.
Well,
that.
it didn't stop him defending the big blind with his hand, and you've got to say he's hit his flop.
So to me, shoving is one of the plays here. He's given himself a chance to get away from it on the turn. It looks like, is he?
Yes.
He won't be getting away from it now. Well, Stephen will be, like, he's a short stack coming in here, but I'd say there's a level that he's thinking of, that he's planning to get to where he'd be back in as favourite to win the tournament. He's certainly the most experienced of the big paydays.
He's got a great chance of a double up now. And he was always the one who was most likely to play the short stack well at this table. He was never going to panic, but this is a great opportunity for him to get right back in amongst it.
I'd like to know if he was prepared to fold on the turn. I'm guessing he was prepared to fold on the turn to a shove.
If anybody was going to, filled up.
You would almost say that aside from Stephen Chidwick's parents and Stephen himself, nobody at the table is enjoying this result.
No, I was just saying. I mean, there must be some level that he's aiming to get to where he'll be favoured again.
That makes a big difference, doesn't it? Actually, being on a streamed or televised event, it adds extra pressure. Getting a hand like this takes a bit of pressure off.
Well, having been there and done it before, certainly a huge advantage.
Yeah.
Because you're far more comfortable. You know, I mean, there was something we didn't talk about yesterday was the fact that these people are on the streams with dozens of people watching. You know,
you're not human. You're not human if it doesn't come into your thinking.
Yeah.
What how people are going to judge you, and especially if you've got shareholders and what have you.
So.
Yeah, but you know, it
actually
does bring a huge amount of pressure in itself if you're not used to it.
I don't mean to be pedantic, but I'm finally settling
Well,
now
when are you going to stop?
that the blinds are 2.5 and 5 million.
Yeah,
that's my final. That's my final offer.
So basically, you were
Well,
both wrong.
By the way, Neel has decided that now is the time to 3-bet kings. Now, his timing is off, but I kind of like the idea that he's decided that Maria is someone who will lay down a lot of hands to a 3-bet at this stage of the tournament.
But she's also somebody who's more likely to give up on difficult flops. I kind of like the idea of calling and playing her off flops because she's, you know, she sees the danger a lot, you know, and she's very, very thoughtful. Sometimes you can only bluff a thinking player, you know what I mean? And, but obviously...
He also had the option of folding.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
You know, well, Maria has, well, from what we saw, I mean, which is only a small percentage of her play. I mean, she was playing. She was one of the tighter players at the table last night.
She was. But
he's trying to do too much too early here, Park.
Yeah.
And I mean, you know, you can say, what's he doing? It's amazing what the adrenaline does to you, right?
now this is great. The way that she has.
Has she called it?
Yeah.
Oh my God!
This is perfect.
I like that.
She had a long thing.
That's a really
She's
strong
after him
play
for
under this sort of pressure.
She's after him for
going
the
for
whole
the
stack.
lot.
But by the way, she is also saying to herself that she's willing to fold on an ace-high board, right? I mean, that's also what she's...
I don't think that was a major part of her thinking. She's just setting a trap. I think she knew that Neel was playing back at her. That if she re-raised, she was going to lose him.
Yeah.
She's prepared to take the chance, and it's not a bad flop for her, is it? With the King of Hearts in her hand,
Fairly insane.
she might just raise now.
She's going to hang him. You don't realize sometimes what a guy has been doing for the 12 hours since we've seen him. And my guess is that what Neel has been doing is not sleeping much. And I think he's come to the table a little bit cracked up.
Do you know who used to do this kind of play an awful lot, Barney? A lad who won't be doing it again. Dave Coldclough.
He did?
He was doing this way before anybody was. I mean, he'd often play the aces very similar.
Well, it's a very old school way
Oh,
to
as
play.
Maria, you mean? Well,
Yeah, it's a very old school way to play against aggressive players, and it's worked to perfection. She knew. She's still thinking now. No, she's waiting. She's calling quickly. Yes. Checking that the King of Hearts is there.
Still.
She knew this was the best way to get paid against the hand she was beating, and she's calling now. She always takes her time, all the time, and that's fine. And she's got 100% in this pot. He's got no way of winning it, and she played it to get the absolute lot. That was brilliant.
No, it was a great.
Got him. No, he came to play.
Yeah.
It reminds me a lot of how I went out of this tournament, actually, or how, as Jon would put it, how I got whittled down.
I mean, look, he's had a great tournament, 72,000 pounds, absolutely fantastic.
You know, I do think, getting back to
something.
the sexist thing, I think if you have a game like Katie's, it actually helps being a girl, because there is still that thing that's ingrained in
Women
some
don't
guys
bluff.
that women can get it, that women who've got a good game can get away with more against guys.
I mean, but really, if your thinking is that Neanderthal, you know, how did you ever make it to this final? I mean, these are all good players. You know, I mean,
I wouldn't go that far.
I actually think the simple story is that she may actually have a read on a couple players at this table, and she picked up weakness.
Nah, she's a girl.
I mean, that's the timing thing. I mean, you know, when a guy 3-bets someone with kings, you can either say they're unlucky, or you can say, well, they don't have the white magic. I know Phil Hellmuth would say that. You do get reads off some people, and she might actually be quite a good reader of players. It looks like she is.
I went to a dinner,
perfect.
Jesse. I went to a dinner in Vegas last summer where somebody gave a speech about the difference between women players and men. It was a top woman player saying that, you know, that she thought that
Was she the waitress?
women weren't as aggressive and competitive as men, and that this actually did give men an advantage. But I mean, my view is that if there is a difference, if there's an edge that women have got, it's empathy. You know, it's like there's a big crossover between the ability, the interest in other people, the
And the
ability to
ability to
empathise
read
in them, and reading abilities. You know, and they tend to make very
You
strong.
mean if a woman is a gossip, she's a better poker player?
They're studiers of people. You know, I mean,
Yeah,
everybody.
gossips.
We all are. But if there's a difference, you know, I think they. You know,
Yeah, it's probably a good point.
So,
Well, moving swiftly on.
well, by the way, Jacob peeled off the flop. This was a button raise, and he called from the big blind. He peeled off the flop, and now she's put the second barrel in. He peeled the flop with ace high. He hit his 6 out. You know, this pot is still kind of up for grabs.
God, it's getting out of hand.
I mean, she's put 2 full
There's
barrels in now.
74 million in there.
But isn't the biggest problem is everybody would know that she would not put the third barrel in now without a straight, or would she? I mean, she can't be betting an overpair anymore, ace 10. She can't be betting any of those hands.
Yeah.
is he going for a raise because he's got the ace of spades in his hand? I've got to admit, I didn't watch the way the whole
He's
thing.
leading out on the river here. He's
Right.
decided that he needs to bluff this to win, which is weird because if you call on the turn, I mean, I don't know.
People are afraid to play hands with her.
Well, it could.
missed all the
It's
action.
actually quite a small. It could be a blocking bet.
Yeah.
She gone for the race.
Which
I think she's done.
She's gone for a call. She thinks her king. Wow, she thinks her king might be good. I mean, well, she.
Well, she wasn't far
Yeah,
wrong.
she wasn't. Yeah, I mean, she kind of read the weakness. She read the fact he was trying to buy the pot or whatever. But
it's probably good.
I mean, she's prepared to go with her read. She clearly thought he had like two small hearts and hadn't connected.
You know, there is some controversy over whether ladies should be allowed to have their own tournament. I mean, you know, sometimes girls feel intimidated coming into play in a big poker room, and if they can feel their way into the thing through a ladies' tournament, that's fine.
My view is it's up to them. If they want it, they should have it. You know, it's simple as that.
But I think from what we're seeing here today, there should be a case for having a men's tournament to protect these guys.
Well, that's also. I mean, the point's going to come where.
Now we're talking.
The point's going to come where no one's going to see the necessity for it. I mean,
I think
it's only in terms of making people feel comfortable in what has been an all-male environment.
Exactly. Oh, yeah,
it's not to do with skill levels.
No, I'm not doing it. I'm not even talking about the skill.
My only argument with it has always been
the
the word ladies. I don't.
So by the way, Maria raised in front of the button there, and she got 2 flats in the blinds. Jeremy, of course, that's the most interesting play, flatting with the ace-9 to a button raise.
I got a very useful introduction to ladies poker, and that saved me a lot of time. I started playing I was playing in the 1980s with the great Colette Doherty. I mean, 2 times Ireland champion, the first woman that ever played in the World Series, who could look like a lady and curse like a trooper all at the same time. I mean, I never fell into those traps. I mean, where you see a girl at the table and automatically put her into a category.
If you're being,
it wasn't very flattering.
She was
because
great.
I had days playing heads up with Colette under my belt, and I still have the scars.
Yeah, I mean, she was not only
This
fantastic
is run
player,
out.
she was a character.
By the way, listen.
She still is.
So Maria raised on the button.
Oh, sorry, Barney.
And she checked back the Queen 10-10 flop with a Queen 6 in her hand.
Yeah, I mean, if you're being results oriented, you say she missed a bet there.
Well, no, I mean, she was under repping her hand, but it's come a trouble card on the turn, and now, I mean, I think Jonathan's trying to get a bet out of somebody. I think he's fairly confident he's good. Oh no, he's bet. No, sorry, it was Jeremy that checked. Okay, he's trying to get a bit of value from his king here. And Maria's got a problem because, well, I mean...
Well, she's sitting there thinking because she played the hand any different. If she puts that out of her head...
Well, she's thinking either he's betting with air here or my queen is a million miles in front. I mean, he does. I think she's probably discounting Jeremy now, who's just checked it 3 times. But it's been priced in a way that, you know...
But she only has to be right about 20% of the time. And,
But it also looks like a value bet. She knows that that John would have checked a 10 to her twice for sure.
Or maybe.
Well, not for sure, but
he
quite
never would have
likely.
checked a 10 on the turn, really, with the straight draw out there.
Well,
He
yeah,
would have
maybe
gotten
not.
Called by
Yeah.
the jack. I mean,
Yeah. And the price she's being offered. Wow.
Wow.
That's why she's still got those
that's a
chips and
pretty
we're
decent
sitting
fold.
here.
I got news for you. She's just showing more and more as she needs to. She's a player. I don't, everybody keeps telling me, "Oh, well, she's the boyfriend of so and so." I've never heard of so and so, but I got news for you. If he's half the player she is, he's in very
Well, I hope
good
Well,
Just
I think you're completely wrong there, Jesse, because even I, with my fading eyesight, can see that she is not the boyfriend of anybody. This is the old, he should have gone to Specsavers.
This now, Mateusz, I guess he's 100% button raiser. That's what I'm calling him. He's 100% BR.
And 50% BS.
All day breakfast on the BR.
Well, it's not the worst flop for Maria.
Disappointing about Katie. Just because I really wanted to see her play more. But who is going to be the next player at this table to give Jacob the kind of, the kind of action he deserves? Which is, well, you know what I mean. You know? Well, who's going to be the guy that's going to take him on?
Well, is Maria going to have a stab? She's got the up and down. I think she feels that Mateusz checked back because he had some kind of showdown value. So her instinct is to try and take that card.
I mean, wouldn't you say right now that Jacob must be loving it? Probably the two players at the table who were easily, in his mind, the biggest dangers, Chidwick and Katie, are gone.
Yeah.
I mean, he must be, yeah.
They were giving him the most trouble, it's true.
None of these people have really given him trouble. Mateusz certainly hasn't.
Who's going to step up to the plate now, though?
Come on. Let's see. Who's going to give Jacob the old check raise ram?
No, less than that. About 125 maybe. I think sometime back out, which is also possible.
Nobody, I'm guessing.
Well, I don't think he's raising this to fold to a repot from Jacob.
I wonder how many scarves he's got.
Jacob's going to take a flop here.
I think it's actually the same scarf as yesterday. Actually, if he does flop
Can
another set
Jeremy-
here, I think he'll start worrying that he's hitting his stride too early and not getting enough value out of it.
167.
I think he'll start worrying that flops another set here. Okay, Jeremy's hit the front. And Jeremy's probably going to check this, yeah. And Mateusz against one player would certainly have a pop on this flop.
Just I think you pretty much bet no matter what, don't you?
He's shown the least propensity to continue, but he's certainly thinking about it this time. Yeah, I had trouble saying that the first time. Don't make me say it again.
Got a propensity towards tenacity.
Okay, it's a good flop to rep as the raiser, but he's not going to get rid of Jeremy for one bet here, that's for sure. He's just going to call, you think?
Well, I thought guys always called with one pair when they were in the big blind and the pre-raiser bet the flop, but
Yeah, most of the time. And if he's in front, is likely. I mean that's Jeremy doesn't mind that turn card at all, because Mateusz is liable to switch off.
because Mateusz has ace queen.
Oh, yeah.
No. No, I know what you mean, but it doesn't really change anything, does it? Or you mean because he would be more likely to check a king back there?
Well, I mean,
He had a big-
also a 9 is one of the things that, in his range that
Yeah.
Mateusz might have been putting him on, that he might have thought he could get him off on the turn.
Definitely.
I think Jeremy's in check call mode now, isn't he? Or do you think he's going to try and get a bit of value here? I think he's in check call mode.
Would have been a good time for a blocking bet. No?
No, he's too strong
Forgot
for that.
about those.
Too strong for that. And Mateusz is too cute. You know, he's going to get called by anything that's beating him. Anything. He's got the nut F all.
Phil Locke came up with an idea for a bet. I think it was a triple combo, blocking, value, and it was something else.
That's a sandwich you can get at Vineyards, isn't it?
Yeah, it was. That's exactly what it was. It was a blocking bet, a value bet, and a roast beef sandwich all at the same time. But he described it so eloquently.
Blocking comes about an hour later.
I will say this about Jeremy. He feels to me that he is more focused this morning than he was at the end of the night last night. You said he came to win. He looks.
That's great,
Totally
Jesse.
up
You
for
said
it.
you were going to say it, and then you said it straight away.
Oh! I wonder where Finn Harp's playing.
Who?
Somebody said to me on Twitter, I wouldn't put Finn Harps.
By the way, I found out that Jeremy is Trinidad. I'm not sure if he's Trinidadian or Tobagan, but he's.
Well,
He's Trinidad
in one sense, it's
Trinidad
one
and
place. Yeah.
Tobago, that holds a great place in Irish sporting history because there was a guy, I can't remember his name, but he used to play for Limerick. And he's got 2 caps for Ireland, and he only played once. It was a summer tour, and Ireland played Trinidad and Tobago. And this is a true story. and the FAI, some genius in the FAI sent him out 2 caps.
That's got to be the best trivia question of all time.
It's pretty good.
Did he get paid twice? That's,
He probably did. Or if it being the FAI, he probably got knocked twice.
and if he got 1 yellow card, was he sent off?
Can't remember his name.
How is their cricket squad these days?
Ireland.
Oh, Trinidad and Tobago.
Well, Trinidad's doing well.
Yeah,
Tobago's.
Yeah, Tobago's a work in progress. And then we wonder why they tell Irish jokes. We kind of walk ourselves into it, don't we?
Would you say that since those 3 players went out, the table has gotten much more serious?
I'd say they've gotten a lot richer. And I'd say Jeremy is probably one of the happiest guys there. He hasn't done very much today. And
Done it all right.
yeah, and he's added quite a lot to what he was guaranteed overnight. You know, we're talking big money here.
Even after having bluffed for 3 streets into the Kings. That was Jeremy, wasn't it?
No, that was Neel.
Oh, that was Neel. So rubbish with names
dearly
and everything
departed.
else.
The dearly departed.
Oh, yeah.
Can't believe
Yeah.
this. I mean, what do you think you're here for?
To learn from you, Warwick.
Well, we'll see how that has hurt Katie. It was an interesting hand. I mean, she went for the second barrel first of all,
Wow.
which is probably good.
I mean, she's prepared to go with her read. She clearly thought he had like
I really
two
don't-
small hearts and hadn't connected.
Are we on a 1 hour clock?
Queen Jack. Sorry?
Are we on a 1 hour clock at the final table?
We're at the all in, and she's well. This is a bit of good news for Katie at this
Yeah,
stage.
yeah.
Steven's gone all in. He's in big trouble now, Mr. Chidwick.
Yeah. She
And,
can get it all back in this coup, can't she? Or most of it.
Yeah. I'm sure she'll feel like it's a little early to be celebrating. Now look
Well,
at
Jacob's
she's only got 35 million extra.
Jacob got a decision here. I mean, I think this is normally a fold by the sixes, isn't it? Once Katie has overcalled a very, very strong players all in.
I think he's just messing, Barney. I mean,
well, you know, obviously he's got a great price if they've both got if they've both got the kind of hands they've got. But no, I think the fold is correct. Yeah, Maria's not even going to consider it. Oh, he had Maria behind him as well, of course.
I want to know where they've got a mic on Stephen.
So Stephen Chidwick is all in and in trouble.
Yeah, he'd like to see like an 8 or a queen on the turn, well, a jack, but I mean, you know, well,
oh boy,
Oh my God.
that is bad news for Katie Swift. And great news for Stephen Chidwick.
queen now becomes an out for her.
Ouch, I'll tell you what, it all happens so fast at these final tables. Chidwick now, he's going to have 100. He's got 130 million. He's a huge force.
But Stephen is getting to the point I was talking about 3/4 of an hour ago. That there is a chip level that he's going to get to where he's going to consider himself favourite to win.
Because he has all the weapons in his arsenal all of a sudden.
When he's got the,
Yeah.
I mean, he's probably got the money, and he's definitely got the big time experience, and he's got the composure.
And the cards have run very sweetly for him in the 2 pots he's been in so far. He's had 2 doubles up. Yeah.
You know, he's probably the best player at the table. I wouldn't say there's too much doubt about that.
No.
But when the best player starts to hit cards, it's time to get out of Dodge.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, would love to see Katie do well here, but you know, when you got Maria
I'm rooting for Katie.
when you got Maria and Jacob in the mix here, this is going to be exciting, really, no matter what happens. I would say both of them are emerging as very strong contenders. I think we may not have seen everything she's capable of yet. I really do. I mean,
I agree with you, Jesse.
I mean, let me make a bold prediction. She might at some point just open up the floodgates and start raising 3 out of every 4 pots. I mean, she may have that gear in her game.
Well, as they go short-handed.
Sure, why not?
Well, of course, as they go short-handed, you know, these players know how to adjust. And to have a big stack when you get to like 4 or 5-handed, then of course you open up. Of course you put pressure on the short and medium stacks.
You'd be playing with less players and more money lodged in the back pocket. It's kind of gives you 2 reasons to do it.
So this was a limp in check. I would say one thing, the last 2 days, the small blind plays have not been very aggressive. There's been a lot more limp in the small blind than raising. More blind on blind hands. Something happened. Is that Somebody's got to have a pop at it. I wonder if Jeremy's prepared to have 2 pops at it. You know, 1 pop might not do. Or if it's 1 pop and done.
He hasn't exactly
Pop and drop. Are they going to be bringing those hors d'oeuvres into our room in 30 minutes, or did it happen 30 minutes ago? I'm trying to figure out. Which one.
I had mine 30 minutes ago.
This is the problem with the 30-minute delay. I think
I can't find out if it's today or yesterday.
I think we've lost the battle here.
Well, you're right. She feels
in an unfair war.
Right. Well, she was. I mean, she
her
wasn't
king's
giving
good.
up.
Yeah,
so he has to have 2 pops.
She feels her king's good enough at the time here, and.
But you know what?
This
If
is
you can't pop twice, I mean, if you can't pop twice, you can't be here. I used to know a guy named One Barrel Carl. He never went very far.
Obviously, you got to start with 1 barrel.
Yeah, but that usually if you win 1 barrel, you're usually going over the Niagara Falls, aren't you? That's.
Jeremy's got 2. What did John Duthie said? He came in this morning. He said, "You know, the problem with Barney is he's actually very funny."
John.
Today he had a beautiful belt buckle, the snakeskin boots. And look what Maria, what are you thinking about? She called once. She's actually thinking about calling again. I mean, she's.
It's great. Well, you know, if he's bluffing, the king is often good.
That's for sure.
I think it's quite smart. I mean, she must be thinking that most of the hands he bets with on the turn, he does check on the river. Most of them.
Look, she's still looking for a reaction from him after she's folded.
She knew something was up, didn't she?
Well, that's true.
Well, I
Parkin.
mean, she was very, very close to making that call.
There would have been a lot of them who spent the night lying in bed looking at the ceiling and the clock as well.
Like 135, I think. Yeah.
Julian Gardner, remember, Parker, used to have a very, very... We're one of the greatest players ever from Manchester, right? But he used to have a very, very strict schedule about how he dealt with multi-day tournaments, which is, I think it was 15 minutes before the end of the night. He would start.
In order 2 pints.
Right.
Yeah, he did.
And they
Oh, come on. Katie's gone all in for a pair of tens. You know, a great hand to find with her stack. And I thought Jeremy had a pair of queens behind her. I guess I misread that.
it might be Maria that's got the queens. It certainly might be.
Oh, no,
or maybe it is
okay,
Jeremy.
No, he's still got his
the
cards.
action's on
Okay,
Maria.
yeah, okay.
God, well, I hope they don't, because I'm rooting for Katie to win this tournament.
Yeah.
Well, don't worry, Park. She's got to double up sometime, and the tens have been hot.
The tens.
If he has got queens, it's definitely now on that.
How many TV programs have
What's
you
Maria
done?
thinking
They
about?
come out with shit like that.
Okay, fives.
You don't remember that? There was that fella from the Midlands, Dave.
I do remember.
It was my favorite ever interview.
Well, I can't blame you for that.
He had played some of the most unorthodox poker we'd ever seen. Every move he made was right. Every fold, every re-raise, everything. And he had beaten Robin Keston heads up in a tumultuous battle. Dave, what was his name? He was from the Midlands. Online player. And when we did the interview after at the table, he said, how did you make that call against Robin with the 7-4? It was fantastic. He said, well, sevens have been hot all night.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we were expecting something.
We were talking about him like he was the
I've rarely seen you so disappointed.
So Maria's thinking about what it would cost to her if she got pushed back on, you know, and
this is a tough decision with the players behind her.
yeah,
right?
well, she's got. That's right.
She might be remembering what happened yesterday. Do you remember that when she got stuck in? She got stuck calling after, was it Katie who found the big hand behind her?
Yeah. I mean, big blind. I think she would have called Katie there.
Yeah.
Still a bit of a decision because you know she's only ever in a flip.
She had the ace-9, didn't she? And then Katie woke up with the
that and then she was priced in.
Yeah.
Not against that. She had the ace-5, didn't the ace-5?
She had the
suited.
ace-5, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Clubs, I believe.
Okay. Well.
I think you're right, Bart.
Well, it's now or never.
Katie Swift all in. I mean, she has been, for me, she has been the revelation of this tournament so far.
Yes,
let's.
I agree entirely.
No disrespect to Jeremy.
I mean, she did one thing that was kind of actually too good, which was calling with that king of spades, king high, and.
I mean, I don't know. I think that might have been a mistake.
Well, it was. She felt she was priced in. She was beating bluffs, and but then it was losing with the ace king that really did for her, and it's a 10 or nothing right now. But she has played absolutely fantastic. She should be very, very proud.
£100,000 for Katie Swift, and perhaps the promise of things to come. But,
she goes around and shakes hands and just at her heart.
A popular winner around here for sure.
Geez, where did she learn to play like that? This.
Dawn,
I would have to say that this club has. Someone said it to me the other day. They said it's become a bit of a poker school here.
Yeah.
There's so many good players who are coming out of this area. They all started at Dusk Till Dawn.
For the Party Poker Millions at Dusk Till Dawn in Nottingham.
Our intention is to make tournaments for players in your tournament, and we want to carry that on wherever we go.
It's quite unique. It's obviously good for poker. It's fantastic so far. The numbers are up, the guarantees hit, and it's packed.
The single biggest prize pool ever recorded in UK poker history. Party Poker is putting the fun back into the game. One person will walk away from here £1 million richer.
If you want to have a go, just think you're hard enough. Let's have some.
I love what Party Poker is doing. I'm supporting it. I just think it's great for players.
Everyone who's anyone in poker is right here. You're about to witness the start of something that's huge.
Seen it. It's not the first time we've seen it today. We'll back off pots.
It's the first time I've seen it.
If he's not in charge, he will back off. And I think that's okay. You don't win these tournaments by calling to hit draws on the turn.
Yeah, I know.
By the way, Jeremy's got a nice stack all of a sudden.
I didn't know on Monday when I came down here with a pocket full of money and the trousers full of balls. I've lost both.
11 million.
Well, will Jonathan just take a flop here?
He's got a badge overnight.
No, it doesn't feel it's quite deep enough. And earlier in the tournament,
Actually, he hasn't. He's traded up. He's swung.
Look at this. Now Stephen's got the option to just call here. He sometimes
He's the snap shove guy.
Yeah.
Jeremy's been raising a lot.
Overnight.
Yeah, he's
in the second best.
He's got under 30 bigs.
Yeah.
It's still a big raise, I guess. I mean,
well,
you only have one player behind you besides the initial raiser, so he's probably thinking.
He wouldn't have been, he wouldn't have been putting it down if Mateusz thought he was just playing back at Jeremy. Mateusz.
Oh, that was it, Mateusz.
Mateusz, I think, is what.
Anyway, John Duffy
like.
pronounced it correctly at the beginning of the show, so we're covered.
We could be about to lose the strongest player in the field here.
I don't think so. I think he's going to.
You think the ace is coming? Yeah.
So. But
not the
yeah,
back door straight.
Look, this is one of the casualties of the blinds not being of the blinds being quite high with all these players. Your stack is at jeopardy every pot right now.
Well, I mean, to be fair, these were two genuine hands, and these callers are going to occur. But
well, the top man, the top player, good luck to him. 100.
Yeah, I mean, he'll take it in his stride more than anybody. It's another day at the office for him. He's made so many big finals in Vegas, hasn't he, in the last few years?
Feels good. Yeah, I've had a lot of close calls in the past. Being able to take one down in Panama and then having this run here makes me feel really confident and really happy coming into the World Series. I think it's a really cool tournament format, and I really hope that it's a big success and they run a lot more, because I've met a lot of cool people who probably wouldn't play an event like this usually, and they've been able to qualify and get in, and there's a lot of cool stories here, and the tournament's run really well, and had a lot of fun.
We thought that everyone he would be coming into contact with would be, a little bit shady and not very straight. And it's quite nice to see that he's made up with a lot of really nice people on the circuit.
I believe that now we're down to 5, that there's actually suddenly a lot more play in this tournament. Basically, all these players, maybe not Spinks.
I mean, it was
the rest
already
of them
the
have
case.
the option of playing a hand and not having to commit your whole stack.
Before, I mean, that hand played out a certain way. There was a raise and a re-raise, and then the kings behind. But it was already a case, even before that pot, no one had much less than 30 bigs.
Right.
And this is what we were talking about with Maria. As they've gone down to 5-handed, she understands how the value of hands changes. And we've seen her throw away these small pairs under the gun, I think, or certainly for one raise. But she knows 5-handed, any pair, is very strong. No, you're right.
I like to play sixes like jacks.
Okay. Now, is Maria going to continue on this flop? I mean, the fact that there's 3 clubs makes it harder. But, if there weren't 3 clubs, I think she can continue for sure, to rep the ace there. But she might want to give a card in case he's holding a big club. No, this is great. This is great. He's got to give up. Lovely. And she doesn't like to commit too many chips to any situation, and that's a good attitude, because if you can take a lot of small pots because you get respect, if you can lessen the amount of times you get into big coups, then you can get a long way.
I remember one time, one of the very first times I met Parg, we was in Amsterdam. He was very deep. I think there was final 2 tables at the Big Master Classics. I was standing on the rail with Scott Gray and Mike Sexton, and Parg has raised his pot up, and there's 2 tables left. It was quite a big spot. He's raised his pot up, and someone's come over the top of him for loaded chips. It's got back around to Parg, and he sat there staring at your man like he was going to kill his family for about 10 minutes. And Mike and I are absolutely think Parg might have the jacks, maybe the ace king. I'm 100% sure. It's one of the 2 hands. And Scott Gray says to us, does anybody want anything? I'm going to the bar. He said, does anybody want anything? I'm going to the bar. And Mike Sexton and I looked at him and said, how can you go to the bar? Parg's in a pot for all his chips.
I mean, I think this is part of Parg's philosophy. If you can't take a few chips off their stack, you can take a few days off their life at least.
So it was a raise and take it from the button last hand for Maria. She was folding it every time yesterday. And this now is I think her 3rd pre-flop raise in 5 hands.
And the only reason she's 97% and not 100% is running queens, isn't it, or something like that? There's very little.
Could possibly be a flush draw. She's now raised. She's decided, well, I can run over this table.
Well, I mean, according to Rory Liffey, we went through this yesterday. Everything is good for you. Everything in your fridge can give you or prevent cancer, except bacon. Bacon is the new AK-47.
But Jacob Mulhern leading proceedings. But listen, aside from Spinks, who's down to 20 big blinds, look at the play here. I mean, there's not much between Jacob and Jeremy in 1st and 4th. Maria has opened up her game.
Yeah.
I think that's she's definitely had the biggest change.
Okay, with the blinds now at 3 million, 6 million, 600 ante. The last 5 are back in action. Jonathan Spinks, a short stack, 16 bigs. Everybody else playing relatively deep. Jeremy's he's opening wider than anybody right now from under the gun. And this counts as a big hand, 5-handed.
I mean, I'm looking at this lineup right now, and I'm seeing Jeremy raise. I'm thinking, who is the guy that's most likely to 3-bet him with air? I can only find Jacob right now.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been. Excuse me. What's the name again?
It could have been Katie. It could have been Stephen. It could have been Neel.
Yeah.
Honestly, those were the 3 players that we've lost that were most, besides Jacob, most capable of the 3-bet. With there, I'd like to think that.
And another few of the 7,000 or 8,000 that played this tournament, well, whose names we temporarily forgotten.
Oh boy!
This is a split pot a lot of the time, though. You know, I mean, it's
not as.
It isn't yet, but.
I bet you it's
not as often as you think, Barney.
Well, no, you're right. Actually, it has to come 2 big cards, doesn't it? So. Yeah, Jeremy's in a very good. This is horrible for Maria. Yeah.
And she can always get out of
we've seen her escape tactics today.
I'm going to say a heart will be Well, he's got the heart. If he thinks that she was calling with a flush draw, well, I mean, he's betting again, isn't he? He's got a heart in his hand too.
Oh, I think she was
well,
very unlikely.
It got him.
From what we've seen. I mean, she's a fan of the smaller pots.
Yeah, absolutely. And she's aware of the danger too. If he wants to continue, why can't he have an ace?
This is as hard as you want to work to keep this pot small. He's just bet 25 million. I mean, there's going to be, if she calls here, there's going to be 100 million in the pot.
I mean, what I do like about this girl's play is, well, first of all, the way she's been playing, but secondly, the composure she's shown. I mean, you know, this is the big stage. It's huge pressure, but she always looks calm and thinks the whole thing through.
Oh, this is horrible for her.
Well, what is Jeremy thinking?
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah, he's
ace 10 and ace jack.
He's only beaten ace 6, ace 7, and ace 8.
Yeah. That's right.
And he's losing to the flush.
And he's seen how she played those kings.
I mean, think about it this way.
You're right, that could stand to her for sure.
What does he expect to get called by here with a value bet that he beats? It's not exactly like the World's Fair.
Ace 8, right. ace 7, and ace 6.
Yeah.
How many times do I have to tell you?
I mean, what about King 4, Parg? Is King 4 totally gone at this stage? She wouldn't have called 25. King 4, right? King of Hearts, 4 of Spades, maybe. Maybe she'd still beat him.
I think you're right. I think it's. Well, oftentimes this is checked, and well, no, he's.
I'd say about 50 million would be.
I mean,
that's nice.
It's a pretty good bet by him when you take all that into account, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is it though?
I don't know, really.
Is it against this
I
bet?
actually feel like she's much more likely to have a hand that, if I'm sitting in his shoes, I'm actually thinking she's more likely to have a hand that beats me if she calls.
She's
that's what I'm thinking.
And she's also the only player that can lay this hand down.
No, it won't.
Yeah.
I know the reason I was laughing is because
maybe she thought he thought she had like jacks or something like that. But
maybe she did have jacks.
But you know.
Maybe she did have jacks. That's interesting, Barney. Or 7s or 8s or 6s. Yeah, that's.
It's not never that she has these kind of hands. I think he felt like he had to. He felt like he had to get some value.
They're second in chips, and Maria's down to 40 bigs. If he had anything with showdown value here, he would have checked. He's not making a value bet against her.
Oh my God!
Oh, that's just cruel.